He's one of our favorite guests, and I'm going to stop talking about him like he's not sitting right next to me. As soon as the Celtics made the NBA Finals, I texted this man saying, we've got to get you in studio to talk about his team, the Boston Celtics, and also incredible as Red Auerbach in Winning Time. Great to see you, Michael Chiklis. How are you?
Richie. Nice to see you.
Awesome. This show is incredible. It was
really is.
so much fun. I can't get enough of it. So watching you as Red Auerbach every single time you come on the screen, it was just like a cotton candy.
Imagine you HBO calls you and says, hey, they're doing a show about the Red Sox and they want you to play Torrey or Girardi, right?
Right.
You'd probably want to do that.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Exciting, incredible, and
I choose Torrey over Girardi.
Of course, yeah, clearly.
I mean, as long as we're using this as a construct, as an analogy, I need to jump in here and make my choice.
Sorry.
I'd be Torrey in any story about the Yankees or anything like that. But that had to be the quickest yes in the history of your career.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when I read that second episode that has the sort of mano a mano with John C. and Chasen's.
Yeah. What a scene!
What a great scene! I was like, for this alone, that's great stuff. And John C. Reilly is tremendous in this role. I think he's going to be up for every major award this year. He's just spot on for it. And look. A lot's been made of what's the accuracy of the show. I know that they've vetted a lot of this out. They've spent a lot of time on this.
Oh, there's no doubt. No question about it. Michael Chiklis here, our terrestrial radio audience just returned, and we just saw a clip of Winning Time. And, I know there's a lot of question about the history and what's real and what's not.
Right.
But what is real was just the experience of watching this show and watching it be acted the way that it was, shot the way that it was. Yeah. And again, the scenes with you and John C. Reilly, you as Red Auerbach, him as
Boss. A lot more
Boss.
coming because, as you know, the rivalry gets thicker and thicker,
no
right?
Question about it.
That scene right there really sets the pick for the rivalry between the ownership, between the people in charge. And it went from the top down. It was a real, true rivalry, not just between the players. It was everybody,
So when you dressed as Auerbach for the first time, okay, where they picked out whatever, horse blanket, if you will, 80s, late 70s sport coat.
Yeah.
And they put the Auerbach hair on you and you had the stogie lit. What did you think of when you looked in the mirror for the first time?
Well,
look at that right there.
Right?
Out of here.
I think that certain characters that you play, certain characters you approach from the inside out. These are actor terms, but some you go from the outside in. And in this case, it was definitely the outside in because as soon as, like you say, once I got that wardrobe and the stogie and the hair, and then the Brooklyn, next thing you know. There he is, and it really was exciting. And again, I grew up in Boston, and my father used to scream about him. He loved. Red stopped coaching. I believe it was in '66, and I was a kid. I was 3 years old. Mm-hmm. But he was ever present, especially when he was the president of the team. Mm-hmm. He was just around. He was always there, and you couldn't miss him. Look at him, in a crowd, you couldn't miss that guy. And you say 70s costuming, I didn't know anybody who dressed like that even then. He was, you know what I mean? He was unique even then with those, he was just gaudy and audacious. And can you imagine in this day and age, someone lighting up a stogie with 3 minutes left in the game?
It would go everywhere. It would go absolutely everywhere. Like, what's he thinking? How dare he?
How dare, what are the fence, And then you hear all the stories. About the windows being glued shut and the
AC turned off.
Exactly.
Can you imagine first take the next day?
Oh.
Did Red Auerbach show up his opponents lighting a cigar with 3 minutes to go?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Really, as an actor, this is just, I'm just delicious.
Yeah, red meat, man, and you chewed it up. And again, the scenes with you and John C. Reilly together. Like
Lot
two fantastic actors in the role of two pop culture iconic individuals that you would never think would be portrayed on a TV show, right? And then again, the scene where one of the first scenes you mentioned, Chasen's restaurant here in Los Angeles, where Bus is whining and dining Red Auerbach, thinking that you could be the same type of mark as everybody else in his life, where, you know, women and that sort of allure of LA lifestyle would be able, you'd be reeled in as Red Auerbach. And no, like, you're the adult who just wants to win and rip his heart out, and you essentially telling him that. I watched that scene 3 times over because it was fantastic. Just really great.
Well, again, like, you know, everything starts on the page, right?
Yes.
And I have to say, Max Bornstein, he's a tremendous writer, really, really talented. And you don't get dialogue like this, you know. So that, well, again, when I read that scene, I just went, oh, okay, you know, I get to do this. And on top of it, Jonah Hill directed the episode.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's right, that episode.
Yeah,
Okay.
which was hilarious in and of itself.
How
and the
so?
stories.
What do you
well,
mean? I mean,
it just the directions that he gave me. All right, now just terrify him right now in this take. Just absolutely. Like he come over and whisper in my ear and just like, you know.
so John C. Reilly doesn't hear?
Yeah, so he doesn't hear. Just absolutely terrorize him now. You know, I'm like, okay, Jonah, go ahead.
Well, you did. I mean, you did.
We had, you know, it's just a fun process and really, really talented folks. And from everybody, the DP, everybody is really, really good.
Yeah,
you know.
and you know, Celtics are up next in this story. No, I'm not talking about now, but back in the day.
Well, we'll get to that, right?
Yeah, right. They're up next in the story. They win next, if I'm not mistaken. After we just watched the Lakers win, and Magic is the MVP. The Celtics are up next because Magic gets hurt, and then Riley comes in, and I can't wait for the scene when Adrian Brody finally slicks his hair back and becomes Pat Riley in the Armani suits. You know this is all coming, right?
Yeah.
And so when, just one last question on this: when do you start shooting? When does this happen? When do we get more of the show? Do you know?
Shooting. My understanding is late August, early September.
Back at it.
We're back at it. Yeah. Yeah, and
we got to come to set one.
Dude, don't invite.
What do you mean?
What are you
It's
talking about?
like
Don't crash.
Friends of the set, and then we come down, we shoot a little behind the scenes, and we hold it until
I think
the
HBO's
episode.
give their own BTS thing, but we can try. We can
send me
try.
a
like a
text, man. I'll see what I can do.
That's what I mean.
All right.
Let's see.
So here we go. So you're going to
Don't
be.
get what you don't ask for, Rich.
So you're getting the cigars back. You're getting the whole thing back. And here
Well,
we go.
you know, I have to say I'm a little concerned about the cigars because I did quit smoking cigars 20 years ago.
Uh-oh.
Are they real
More than
cigars?
that, 22 years
were
ago.
they real cigars?
No.
bummer.
They have a tobacco wrapper, but it's a cacophony of crap inside it. It tastes like the bottom of a shoe. It's just not okay. I don't know what they put in it. I don't even want to know. It's horrible what they make me smoke. And they, on top of it, they have me huffing that sucker too.
Right, of course.
You know?
Well, I mean, and John C. Reilly's smoking cigarettes. You can even hear it burning. Like you could hear hear these cigarettes burning in some of these scenes.
Those are clove cigarettes. No bueno at all.
God.
No. And, you know, I love the way they shoot it, though, in like 5 different formats.
Yes.
Really give you a sense of the period and the feel of it. I love everything about the way they're making this show and where I can see where it's going. And Max has told me some things about well, you guys are going to love it. I can't swear.
No, it's incredible. It really is. We have enjoyed it. And again, we know that, awesome. You know, certain LA Lakers in this town aren't very happy with their portrayals and things of that nature, but it is incredibly entertaining. I've enjoyed every single minute of it. When you come on the screen, just knowing you and knowing how much you love the Celtics and like you are made to do this. What a stroke.
Really right.
What a stroke.
And then on top of it, now we're in the finals.
Yeah.
The Celtics are
on
in the
top
finals.
Well, the interesting thing is, like, you went to talk about Michael Chiklis here on the Rich Eisen Show, Winning Time on HBO and HBO Max, that, you know, you've got to love the fact, again, because I know you are who you are and your role in the show and who you are in real life. The fact that the Lakers are not winning, but the Celtics. Like,
and we've been busting. I say, I'm like, Max, how the Lakers doing? And he's like, oh,
because they're Laker fans. The people that made
he's
this
a
show.
huge Laker fan.
And the Celtics are, I mean, again, just.
This is a really good squad, man. They have chemistry. You know this. We've talked about this. So many teams, you look at them on paper and they should be able to win it all. And it's really the thing to me that defines the greatest of teams, because there's like always 6 or 8 teams that could do it, right? But it's the one that where the chemistry between the players is just electric. You know, like those knucklehead 2004 Red Sox. They had it going on in the dugout. You know what I mean? It was, and when you see that kind of camaraderie, you know, interesting game the other day. It was almost as if they were happy to take the first game, and you know what I mean? Because no one had a good game. Right. You know, and they're a deep team, and none of their guys, everybody sort of, it was almost like they collectively took the second half off. They just sort of backed off of it. Didn't that feel that way?
Well, I mean, Stephen A. Smith was even saying afterwards that was an unfortunate error on their part, because you let the Warriors back in. You could put your stamp on things.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that. You know,
greed is good, to use the Gordon Gekko phrase, and that is in sports. That you if you can be greedy, go ahead and be greedy and come up with that win. But you know, the fact that they took game 1, which they weren't very good in historically this playoffs, but they do well on the road. That was huge. There's no question about it.
I hate to say this, but the Heat did that to us too, right? Mm-hmm. In similar fashion. So, yeah, I just am a big believer in it. You don't take your foot off the neck of a champion. You got to finish him.
Sure. And I mean, and your Brady Patriots showed that over and over and over again. So, but what's so great about being a sports fan, when you believe in your team and you have that pride in your team, but part of you knows the team's not going to be very good coming into the season, or you're hoping for something good to happen, and then the team doesn't perform very well in the beginning and just catches fire and shows a camaraderie and a chemistry and a heart.
Yeah.
That's where you love your team, and this Celtics team is exactly that. I mean, we've seen like Cardinals teams in baseball come on strong in the second half of a season, or we've seen the Cubs do that too. There's other teams that do that, but this has got to be just one of the more enjoyable experiences.
To the chemistry, them catching fire. That's someone, and I think my instinct is it's Smart and Big Al that are playing a big role in the locker room, right? Yeah. Al, you know, is the veteran. He's salty. He's been around, and I think he's got some things to say. But Smart seems to he seems to be really super passionate.
He's really gotten it. I really think the evolution of Smart as a player and a leader, you've really seen it this year. I think you really needed a guy like Ime to come in and kind of bring that out of him.
Yeah,
he's been awesome. He's been tremendous.
I think he's been amazing, really. But I'm just talking about the locker room chemistry, and you know, I mean, he's been great on the court. There's no question about it. But that's that X factor that I'm talking about. A guy who seems to extract the best out of the guys around him. Listen, I'm not in the locker room, so I don't know who's who. But that's just my instinct in terms of who's doing what.
Any plans to go to any of these games?
I'm hoping to go to Game 6, but now there's a bunch of work stuff that has come up, and I'm not going to complain about any of that.
Of course. But if, let's just say it's Game 6. Let's just say you do get to go, and you do get to go to that arena, and there's 3 minutes to go. Do you take out a cigar?
You know I'm going to have a stogie right here. You know I am.
Have to.
You know I'm doing.
To.
You know, do you take a cigar?
Do I fire it up though?
Yeah, it's probably against code in that town. I don't know.
If we're up 20, you have to.
Yeah, what's the point total that's safe against the Warriors?
They're not going to kick you out.
You don't think so?
No. They're not going to kick you out.
You could say, don't you know who I am? I'm Red Auerbach.
There's a statue of me in Faneuil Hall. Like, they're not going to kick you out.
Go in character.
Yeah,
that is sure right. Go in character.
No, that's not happening. I'll be mocked from here to eternity.
That's true.
You know, come on, let's face it. So, you know.
That would be awesome, though.
It would
Actually, you should go in full Auerbach.
That's why he's saying he would
Don't
be
care.
mocked mercilessly. For
I don't
that.
think you'd be mocked.
Yeah, no, I can't do that.
He
man.
can't do that. He's
That would be awesome. Though.
As it is, I'm pushing the line on Twitter, goofing on it, But I mean, I'm having fun with that.
Of course
That's
you
just-
are.
Yeah.
Twitter's
It
supposed
is
to be
amazing.
fun.
I mean, just think about it. Life is amazing because, you've had so many great successes in your career, Michael, but the fact that you play Auerbach on a hit show just as the Celtics catch fire and make the NBA Finals and potentially
My
win it
wife said
all.
this paragraph.
You
Yeah,
could
she's
not,
like,
you
what?
couldn't have made this as if you
Yeah.
didn't have enough yachts to water ski behind with your Patriots and the Red Sox winning 4 times and breaking the curse. I mean, this has got to be up
wish
there,
I made
brother.
all their money.
Yeah, man. I
only-
mean, this is what a run.
Yeah, it's been incredible, obviously. I mean, my daughters were saying, like, tell me about Red Auerbach. And, and I'm like, honey, they burned his name on the parquet floor.
And that's how you said it.
Exactly. I mean, doesn't that say
There's a
it?
statue sitting on a bench with a foot-long cigar and Boston Coffee.
Honey.
Come on.
They burned his name on the parquet floor. What more do you need to know?
That's it. My
That's
poor
it.
kids, they lived in Los Angeles, and I forbade them from being Lakers fans.
That's good parenting.
I was like, I said, there's no one in my house that's going to say the words "Go Lakers" in earnest ever. It's just not happening.
Mocking is fine, right? Like sarcastic,
And by the
sardonic
way,
mocking
that's
is
right.
good.
Yes, you could do that.
I love how you said in earnest. You got to add in earnest. I love that.
Right? I remember I when I met Magic Johnson, we were doing a tie-in for the NBA and with the Fantastic Four, and it was the Fantastic Four versus Magic, and he walked into the gym where we were shooting this this commercial for 3 days, and I went, "You mother," and I just swore at him. I did, and he burst out laughing. He went, "That's right, you're a Celtics guy," and we laughed. And he was a gentleman and couldn't have been more gracious and amazing. And then he started to regale me with all these incredible stories about he and Bird. And, I kind of look at those guys as the quintessential sort of old warriors that they've survived all the wars and now they have no one else to relate to but each other. The gladiators.
Sure.
And that's the way it felt listening to him. And I went into my trailer at the end of the 3 days, and there were 5 signed basketballs on my desk in my trailer. And no one asked. I didn't ask him to do that. It was really, really lovely.
No
of him.
kidding.
Yeah, he went in. He signed a bunch of basketballs and left them in my trailer, which was lovely too. So I mean, he's a class act, and it was incredible. And it was funny to be able to swear at him. And I said to him, Magic, people think that my voice is scratchy because I smoked or something. It's from screaming at you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's from literal and screaming to be heard at my dinner table growing up.
Understood.
Because Greeks, were loud. And I told them the nicknames for all the Lakers from that time that we had, like Worthless, and, You were there. You were there.
I do love that spite, and again, that does play in Winning Time. One of my favorite lines of the season was from the scene, and I've mentioned this a couple times on the show, so for our listening and viewing audience, I apologize for repeating it, where John C. Reilly as Jerry Buss is talking to Jerry West. They're having this conversation about which coach is he going to stick with? Which is he going to go back, to McKinney, or is he going to stick with Westhead and Riley? And he asks Jerry West for help. And Jerry's like, I don't want any part of this conversation because you're going to stick me with what, if I'm wrong, I'm just going to stick with me and all that. And he tells him, Buss, like, I'm asking everybody. I'm even asking my priest. And West's line is like, oh, don't ask him. He's probably a Celtic fan. That made me laugh out loud. Like, I was on a plane watching it coming back from New York, and I laughed out loud because that's exactly you cursing at Magic Johnson and reminding him about all the nicknames from back in the day. And that sort of sports spite is another thing that we love about sports.
Well,
Incredible.
This guy, Max Bornstein, what a great writer. The dialogue is just crackled, leaps off the page. And again, as an actor, that's what you're always looking for is great storytelling. and insightful, and we look for truths in stories,
Yes,
right?
yes.
It's not about like people always have this sort of misnomer of you're a great actor, you must be a great liar. It's not true. It's not true. You're looking for the truth in whatever story you're telling, and people can discern what's true and what's.
That's okay.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's all right. You're comfortable, and we appreciate that. And you're
Forgive
not.
me,
You're
I'm
telling.
so
You're
sorry.
telling your story. I like it. It's all good. All right.
Well,
It's all good.
I try to keep it clean.
You'll speak. Actually, do you have a few more minutes to stick around here?
I do.
Okay, very good. Because when we come back, I want to talk about Tom Brady, and I want to ask you how your dog's doing, because I miss your dog very much. How's your dog now? How's Tom Brady now?
Tom Brady, the pug, is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little jilted with regard to the real Tom Brady.
Oh.
Yeah. When the head fake retirement happened, and I understand why. I think he took that as an opportunity to circle the wagons. And all of a sudden, Tom's phone went out. And I am no longer on that phone list.
Oh.
I've been jilted. Feel like a 14-year-old.
He tightened the
The wagon. I am
rotation.
not in her circle. Oof. It's so.
We gotta.
I still love you,
rectify that.
Tommy.
We gotta rectify that.
No good.
Breaking news there.
No good.
That's no one knows that.
Oh my gosh! Well, now we have to rectify that. That's no good. He's going to be calling games for 10 years once he's done playing. You heard about that, right?
10 with the way he does things.
Yeah, exactly.
10. 45.
I know.
He'll
be 90
he'll be
years
like 90,
old.
looking good. I don't know what he's doing.
Still 3 to 4 Super Bowls clear of any other human being that's ever played the game.
Crazy.
At that way.
He could win another one.
I know.
He could win another
Well,
one.
that's why it's part of the reason why he's coming back. I mean, I think it's entirely possible he
He's
can.
ripped. It's absurd.
Did you see that video of his underwear and all that sort of
I tried to not.
Try to not look at it.
Okay.
Too much Tom.
That's a little. TMT.
TMT. Too much Tom.
That was too much Tom.
TMT? Too much
Yeah,
time?
too much Tom.
All right. So do we not talk about the Red Sox at all? Is it like Bruno? Or like, do we not talk
that was
about
spoken.
By the way,
You see how he did that?
Over 5. Oh,
with
Mike,
the-
it's been like this for months.
What are you talking about?
It's been like
what are
this
you
for
talking
months.
about?
What are you
What
talking
am I
about
talking
for
about?
months? What do you mean for
This guy
months?
comes in every
Should
day.
we talk about
who's
the
how many games up are we in the
not
standings?
talking
Let me
about
check,
it.
actually. I didn't check today.
I don't
He's
really.
writing checks.
I didn't check
yeah,
today. Hold
checks
on.
to Yankee
That was
fan.
so passive aggressive. I can't even.
Look, the Sox have won 5 in a row, which is amazing.
Over 500.
The
Yeah,
Yankees
I'm
have
not
won
writing any
6 in a row. So they haven't gained a single game in that 5-game win streak.
Yankees
11 and a half
still-
back. 11 and a half back. I'll do the math for you. That's 12 in the loss. That's what we got going
Keep
on.
talking.
Great.
Keep
Yeah,
talking.
I'm not talking.
Keep talking,
He's
Rich.
talking, and I'm getting mad at him every day. As a
And
Yankee
just,
fan.
Why are you
it's
getting mad?
just
And I'm just like,
grinding
don't
it
do
in
it.
there.
Because Rich, August, I hate this. This is why I hate when
It's
the
June
Yankees.
7th. June 7th.
He's dead on.
It's
I'm
June
with
7th.
him.
It's
That's
June
why
7th.
I'm not talking.
What are you talking
We
about?
have 2 or 3 injuries. We're down.
June 7th.
Rich will be the Red Sox will be in first.
Excuse me.
Thank you, Mike.
I've lived this.
Keep talking.
You've lived it.
No. Keep talking. It's okay.
It's something
right,
that
can I shut this mic off?
I'm reveling in every single day. I'm speaking it into
But at
existence.
the end of the year, if we get 28,
What,
then
this
we
you're
revel.
manifesting? Is that what's happening? You're just putting it out?
Mike,
Manifesting works.
join me in manifesting, Mike.
I have
Join me in-
manifested, and I
I
can't
think
manifest.
he understands
He doesn't
the
understand
nature of baseball.
You can't.
I mean,
Rich.
you're manifesting. You got 3 more wins to go in the NBA Finals. You're manifesting. You're manifesting right now. The Celtics are manifesting every day since January 1st.
They've won in the last 10 years.
It's
We
the end of the
haven't.
season. The season's ending.
it to him.
The baseball season is closer to the beginning than the end.
No, it's kind of over. It's over.
I agree with
Whoa.
that.
Wow.
We're manifesting the
Whoa.
Subway Series right
Listen,
now.
there's
Okay.
no
We
doubt
spotted
that
you
this-
11 and a half.
There's no doubt but that this Red Sox team is they give underperforming a new meaning.
That's correct.
Which is fair. There's no question. And
que-
I'm
no
sure
Yeah.
that there are
Trevor Story
conversations.
thought he was still playing spring training. He joined. It was good to have him
He's
join the
good.
league on
We're
May
not at the
18th.
May 18th,
deadline
he's
yet.
been
We're not
amazing.
at the trade deadline. Are you okay?
All right, I'm already going to predict you guys are going to be in
I'm
second or
fine.
third.
What?
Like I'm telling you, this is I've
Mike.
lived.
I mean,
we've lived it.
granted, it's terrifying for
can't.
any pitcher to stand in front of that lineup. I mean, that Yankee lineup is.
So you're saying I'm lighting the cigar before halftime? Is that what you're saying right now?
I
That's
think.
early?
I think.
Okay.
You're walking in.
I'm lighting the
You
cigar?
literally, you're walking into
Walking
the.
in with the bit.
Well, halftime hasn't happened yet. You're in the second quarter and you're firing up. I don't think that Red would have done that.
No.
Red would not have fired up.
Mike Auerbach says no, Rich.
Okay.
Stop.
The Mike Auerbach. By the way,
Mike Auerbach.
By the way,
like
Red,
he's in Law and Order?
Red,
Not his name.
Red, a Brooklyn kid. He's a Brooklyn kid.
I know. Yeah, You've got the accent, man.
Yeah.
I heard that. I love that.
2-4 bet the Rays.
Are they gonna?
What are you doing? Let me ask you something, Richie. How you doing? What are you doing?
I'm going tonight. You want to go down to Anaheim, Mike?
Are you going?
Yeah, I'm going.
You're
Tonight.
going?
I'm going tonight and Thursday.
Okay.
There's a game
I was
tomorrow.
thinking Thursday, actually.
Yeah. The Pavetta on Thursday. He's been on fire.
Yeah. Okay. Enjoy that. Enjoy
So-
that. Good luck. The Angels have lost how many in a row? They
think
lost
12.
in a
I think
row.
they've lost 12
Oh
in a
my
row.
God.
But honestly, in all honesty, though, you
Wow.
can't not look at the Yankees as the team to beat. But I'm going to throw a curveball at you right now.
Okay.
I've been saying since the beginning of the season, really, in our division, the team to look at is the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Then the Yankees.
They've got deep pitching for the first time in God knows when.
Yes.
And they've got the chemistry in that dugout, like I talk about.
Yes.
And these guys love each other.
Yes.
And man, they can hit.
Mash.
Man, they can
They
smack.
sure can hit.
Vladdy hit 2 last night.
Absolutely.
This kid, Vladdy, is a terrifying batter. He reminds me of Manny.
Yes. Yes.
And he's got that goofiness, too. He spreads it. You know what I mean?
I hear you. And the Yankees beat them 3 of 4 in April before sweeping them 2 of 3 in May. They
Are you looking up
swept them.
stats there?
They swept them. They swept them in May as well. So yeah, that's great.
Am I keeping you awake?
No, I'm not keeping. No. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you're just saying all right. Well, say something. You know what? No, you're not saying anything. What you're doing is you're talking around stuff. So if you're going to talk about it, go ahead. Say what you're going to say.
What I'm saying is, there's a canyon that heroes go in. And,
Oh my God.
And I've got a whole bunch of confetti, and it's time to throw it.
Wow.
It's time to throw it.
28.
You've got a duck boat. You might be in a duck boat by next week. You could be in a duck boat by next week.
We could be
a
there.
basketball duck
but
boat.
see, I'm not. Listen, I'm terrified right now because we took our foot off their necks, and these Golden State Warriors can shoot, man, and they're really, really heavily skilled. And I don't know. I would have put my foot on the gas after that. 50-50, wasn't it 50-50 exactly at that half?
It was.
It was 52-50.
Yeah, it's right there.
All right, it was right
Yes,
there. We were right
I know,
there.
no question.
Even third quarter, it got down to 6.
I know.
I don't know. It reminds me, and I hate to even make these analogies, but wasn't it 2011 when the Bruins, the Toronto Maple Leafs took their foot off of the Boston Bruins' neck, and we scored 5 goals in the last 5 minutes of the third period? I remember that. When you're playing a champion, you don't let them up. You have to finish them. No?
It sounds like it. By the way, was that a line from Winning Time right there?
No, that's just me.
That's again why you're perfect, man.
That's 2004 Yankees right there. They should have finished, and they
You
didn't.
you have to finish
I
the
don't
opponent.
understand
You
where
can't-
this is coming from.
You can't disrespect them and go into a defensive posture. Or, you have to finish them.
Well,
It's really cute that you guys are discussing baseball and
you're
you
still a
never
Met fan,
mentioned
I
the
know.
best team in
forget
the
it.
league right now. That's,
all right.
What's happening over here? What's happening?
It's the New York Mets. That's what's happening, Michael.
We're
That's
sadly
another
out of time. Is there going to be a moment in Winning Time where you do the famous photograph, feet up on the desk, hands behind the head?
Hey, Max.
Smoke the
Max, you
cigar.
listening? You out there, Max?
Where's that from? Can you look up what was that? Because if that's from the 80s, we got to recreate that moment. And then you've got to get a still photograph of that and put it on every wall of your house.
I'm
Whatever
not
man
at
cave
liberty
you may
to
have.
say some of the things that I only know a few things that we're going to go into with regard to him. And I'm just so looking forward to it. There are things that actually aren't coming this coming season. They're seasons 3 and 4 if we're lucky enough.
Correct.
Fortunate
Could they have, because that would be an incredibly dramatic moment with Len Bias. Could that be okay? I don't want to get you in any trouble.
Yeah.
But that would be, and again, I know that's aside from the Lakers side of things, but if we're telling the full story here,
tremendous impact on Red Auerbach and the franchise.
No question. Do we know when that famous photograph was from?
I don't
know.
Really
If so, then we got to get that recreated.
I have one of him profile with the cigar.
Oh, yeah, that's a famous one.
Yeah, it's a very famous one, and I have that in my office. So
fantastic.
Yeah, just great. Are you excited over there about the Mets?
Michael, you have no idea. I'm trying not to get too excited because obviously.
By the way,
I got to tell you something about a Mets fan. That 1986, moments after they win Game 6, I'm lower than a snake's belly. I'm waiting. Yeah. I'm bartending at a place called Formerly Joe's in the West Village.
We got 20 seconds.
I'm sorry. Guy comes running up to me and he goes, Chicky, I'm so sorry. Buckner jumped in front of a bus. And I went, oh, no, you're kidding me. And he goes, it's okay. It went between his legs.
That's all, folks. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.